Hey everybody, welcome to Tavern Talks. I'm your wonderful host. Tonight we have a inviting and exciting person tonight. I have Chris from over there at Dress to Quest. He has been a joy to not only play with but to watch as his artwork has brought our show to life. So I thought, why not bring him on the show? He's going to actually show us some cool things while what he's working on, and to find out what it's like to be a concept artist and to be able to, in my opinion, almost make magic immediately because I see nothing but artwork just appear during my show, which is absolutely incredible. Or it means that Chris isn't following along, but normally he keeps pretty good track on top of it. So, Chris, thank you for coming to hang out at the tavern. Uh,
Anytime, James.
any anything you'd like to kind of start this off with, like kind of give us a background of who you are, like what got you into artwork, that kind of thing, as he vanishes.
No, I'm just grabbing a book.
He's going to start drawing as we talk.
Book of sketches. Yeah. I'm I've worked in the games industry for a long time. Recently stopped working in the games industry and stopped working entirely, actually. And so I've I started out as a traditional animator way back when in the 1990s, and then transitioned into CG. And then I
Okay.
sort of transitioned less and less into doing art. But I've always been a good sketch artist, but I've never really worked at becoming an illustrator. But since I started doing these streams for D&D,
Mm-hmm.
I've taken up the habit of doodling during the streams, and then that sort of took on a life of its own. And so for Just a Quest, I'll doodle during the game. It's not that I'm not paying attention; it's just I just do it.
Yeah, no, and it's incredible to watch. Like I said, there's days where I'm not sure. I think it's so much fun for me to know what catches your brain. I think that's the coolest thing about it is sometimes it's very minute details, and I'm like, oh wait, like I didn't think that was so important, but then all of a sudden I see it come to life, and it's this awesome artwork. Um,
My inspiration is always what we are doing. Everything together and what the crew is doing, and
mhm.
usually it takes me around 5 minutes to do one
Yeah,
of these
it's
sketches.
that's incredible.
And
And then
after I do the sketch, what I used to do and previously, what I would now these are pretty rough, but I'd do a sketch and then afterwards I'd scan it and just post it.
mhm.
But with my change of, well, I have more time. So what I started doing was I started cleaning these sketches up and actually trying to teach myself how to ink and how to ink and draw more cleanly and precisely.
Ah,
And so, and that started with the Icewind Dale campaign. And because I really enjoy it and I enjoy the campaign, thank you, James, and
of
I
course.
enjoy the other players and I enjoy drawing. Um, I've I've used this as a way to sort of hone my art skills.
Yeah, like I said, for me, it blows my mind sometimes to just watch how fast and you can create these just gorgeous pieces of art. And to me, it just blows my mind. Uh,
Sorry, that's not showing up. There we go.
Snark.
Yeah, our resident goblin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
no.
anyhow, that's how I've. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you can make it out. Unicorn Boy.
Oh, yeah. And if you haven't seen these yet, a lot of these that he's showing have been actually line arted and then put in as our Be Right Back screen for Dress to Quest, which has been also really cool. We have the opportunity, and I think it's gonna happen at the towards the end. Is we're going to actually put like small blurbs on each of these and put them into a small picture book. So for people that would be interested, of course, keep an eye out for that. Um,
Another one of the Duergar we were
oh
fighting.
yeah, Nildar. Yeah, that was a cool one. When you sent me that one, I was blown away on that because, like I said, some of the some of the first couple episodes, it was kind of just a getting used to the party and getting used to the area. Yep, the first one, the absolute first
Yep.
sketch of Benji as the mommy before we knew her as Murder Mommy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, uh, and I'm curious to say like because I know I got to see her artwork not this year but last year when I got to um, jump in as
Yeah.
oh my god Brax for
Yeah, that
the
was
season two.
that was the Salt Marsh campaign with
Mm-hmm.
me. I did a series of sketches for that. I didn't clean them up because I didn't have time. I was working at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I did put that together into a book,
Yeah.
into a PDF file, and I gave that to him as a gift, and gave that to all the other players as
Yeah.
well. And the
But
story was told from the perspective of my wizard's book.
yeah, which was alive, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken. Yeah.
living
So
book, and I tried to role play it in there, but those were yeah, that covered Nathan's Salt Marsh campaign.
yeah.
But like I said, I didn't have as much time. I did a little bit of cleanup on those drawings, but I just didn't have the time to.
Mm.
It's hard to do this when you have a full-time job.
I know. It's hard to game master when you have a
Oh,
full time job half the time.
yeah, but really, it's mainly because like inking, I'm very slow. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not quite at pro level for inking. I have to take my time and I make a lot of mistakes and then I have to do it over again. I'm much faster at sketching, but inking takes longer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to get better at it. So I'm using a variety of different
Yeah,
techniques.
and for those who haven't noticed, like that's actually Jinjak at the top right of the screen. So that's him as he was battling one of the creatures of ice and darkness. So the what we would say is a method without calling it a method.
It's a method with a little bit of
Little bit of
something,
flavor. Yeah.
yeah, something on
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm ready to share screen if you want.
Sure. Let me rotate over to that. So we do that.
I'm switching desks.
All right. When you're ready, I'll flip it.
Say when, James.
Oh, whenever you're ready. I like I said, it's just a trigger for me.
Screen one.
There we go.
So, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well,
Why is it being goofy though? So, 1 second.
I just
I
put my
see
mic.
us, but the artwork is now being.
So this is just a sampling of the process that I talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, I work in Photoshop. That's where we are now. We're in a Photoshop screen. So what I'll do is I'll scan one of my sketches that you can see here. This was Eloin.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why our sketch decided to. So I can't see the actual artwork now for some reason. I don't know what happened. It was working. We had it tested, and now it's being unfriendly.
Should I stop and start again?
Yeah, let's do that real fast. See what's happening.
Okay, I'll stop share.
Okay. Yeah, it's like it's killed my it killed my screen. Like I don't even have an image of my own self. That's weird. Let's see if that transitions. Nope. It's special.
They went.
1 second. See if I reload, if it'll fix that portion. Where is my checkbox? Nope. All right, this should work now.
Okay, sharing screen again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So artwork.
Is it showing up?
So it is and it's not. So the way it's doing it for some reasons, it's just showing us. It's not letting me get the secondary view, which is weird because it was doing fine when we logged in. Go to standard real fast.
Oh, it's just showing us?
Yeah, it was just showing us for a moment. I'm trying to get it. Ah, we're back. Okay, cool. Yeah, now we can see everything in front. Great.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening with that, and I apologize to our viewers for that one, but we figured it out. So it's all that
All
matters.
right, James, it's all your fault.
I know. It is what it is. I accept it. And there it went again. Great. That's not what I want to have happen.
What?
Uh,
Right back. Give me 2 minutes.
yep, you're good. What? What is happening? All right. Why are
Sorry
we?
about that. I had something in the oven.
Oh, it's not you. This goofy thing keeps sizing wrong for some reason. I don't know why. It's like it wants to pick it up and then it doesn't pick it up. And then it wants to pick it up. There we go. We've picked up again. If I read.
All right. Let me know when to start.
It should be good. All right. I'm not touching anything else. We should be sized. The sizing is a little weird. I can fix that.
So this is basically just
Dang it. Every time it moves. Oh, that's why. We're talking it. It's flipping our. Ugh, that's dumb. How do I do this? What if I don't do side by side? Make it exactly. Okay. Yeah, this looks. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna have to talk through um, the image. So they can see the image right now. They just can't see us. So
well, that's fine.
yeah, I mean it's
Sure, you've seen enough of us. Come on.
true.
So this was a game session where I did a sketch of Elowin and I tried to do a whole bunch of different sketches catching the combat as it was occurring.
Yeah.
And what
See.
I'll do is after the game session, I scan it and then I'll put it together and see what I can make of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
So for those that are watching and haven't seen the show yet, we've got Elowin, who is our guest for which is this mini campaign that we're mini arc that we're running right now in Stillwell. That has grown into quite a bit of an arc. Thought it was only be 3 episodes, but now you guys are hunting works, so now it just grew into more, which is perfectly fine. It just puts a little bit of a different spin on Icewind Dale than what the books do, which is fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. But we've got Elowin here, and then it looks like we have at the top of that one. It looks like Castle versus one of the wargs, and then Jinjak being protected by a flaming sphere, and then we have the notorious Castle being using a flame blade that Elwyn gave her as she charged in on a warg that she took control over due to his beast sense. So yeah, this combat has been different modes of combat have been shown up here for sure.
so the first thing I did was I did a drawing of Elowin and
Oh
cleaned it
my
up.
goodness, that's so good.
Now, I didn't keep the rough, unfortunately, but hang on for a second. Let me do this. Yeah, I didn't keep the rough underlayer. I deleted those after I was done. Like I said, I didn't anticipate we were doing this for live presentation.
Oh, you're good.
Fill on the background so you can make out what's going on here.
I always think it's neat on how people can do layers and stuff and when they draw. Like that to me blows my mind.
There you go.
Yeah.
The final backgrounds that they're posted on, that James gave me a copy of, it's set up for that, but I saved these off separately in just black and white,
Mm-hmm.
mainly just for, show purposes, if anything. So this one took quite a few hours to do. There's lots of details here.
Hmm.
I'll show you like so did you spot the dragon in your staff?
Yep. Yeah, I saw the dragon when I first saw it. It was like, oh my goodness, there's all these little nuances and details, and like the way that the belt is made, and the little extra nuances to keep like the natural feel of the armor being able to be strapped to the body rather than, you look at armor in video games and things like that where it's just there. And a lot of the stuff the work you put into this is like not only beautiful, but it's functional. Like it makes sense.
The armor took the longest part to do.
The,
This
the
entire,
shading for that armor probably took a while.
yeah, and this trying to draw those lines parallel, inking them by hand.
Hmm.
Face was surprisingly easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Oh,
You do all of this by hand though. You don't do this with a like digital pen.
oh, this is the digital pen. This is I'm using a Cintiq. Right.
Okay,
I'll show you in a second.
sure.
So this is just an example of how I started out with
Hmm.
just pure Eloin and the group, and over here. This is the rough that I ended up compositing
Yep.
from the sketches that I had for the battle with the orcs.
Hmm.
Right, so I don't know if like for here, I decided nope, not gonna go with castle like you see here. Nope,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go with castle writing that thing because for a group shot, it was just too difficult to
To get that in there, right?
yeah, and I figured composition wise, it would be better if castle were can you see my cursor?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, if castle were located here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, the group shot is really cool, um, and it gives that understanding of like those were the characters that were actually there, because we went from at one point being all of us, and then all of a sudden there was only you, Arowena, and Castle there for that one episode. So this definitely gives them that opportunity to do that.
I think it still works as white. But yeah, this was rushed. If I were to do it, if I had more time, I'd clean these orcs up a bit more
Hmm.
foreground because they're pretty rough. Like what I was trying to do was make sure that the foreground elements had really thick lines, and as you go further back, the lines get thinner.
Yeah, no, I love it.
And so, and I thought this was way more dynamic having Castle face off against the orc war rider.
Right. Yeah, this is just before she takes over the Ward Rider, which I mean, it still is a part of the story. Like, I don't think there's been a single time where I've looked at it and been like, where was that at? Um, the one I really like is you did one about episode 3 or 4, where it was the four of you standing, um, and they were not. It wasn't the moment all together. It was like you took small snippets of everybody's character and what they were doing during that episode and jammed it together. But it was so cool to be able to pick out those little nuances in each of those characters for that episode, which I thought was really cool.
I'll see if I can find that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which one that was.
It's like the line work.
Because that was. Let me see if I have it.
Or where were we?
We were still in Kerkonig. So that would have been.
Or was it when
It was because you had it because this was the first time that I think you had drawn all the characters together.
I know the drawing. Yeah.
It was 8 was the first one.
Okay. I know that one. That was when Jim Jack was that the one where Jim Jack poured the holy water on
Yes.
Okay. I'll pull that one up.
Yeah. I really liked that one because it was one of those other moments where you were able to take multiple shots and then put it pulled it up. That was a good episode too. She shot
I
that dude.
actually went to JPEGs of everything, and I was gonna show that afterwards.
Yeah.
So in there, or it should be in there. But anyhow, this is just to show off a recent process. But again, I'm not happy about the way some of the foreground works turned out, but I just didn't have time.
Like I said, I mean, for those who are watching, all this is done out of the goodness of this man's heart. So the fact that I get anything out of this kind of stuff is incredible in my opinion. Um, because you could have asked me
Not
5, 6 months ago
so.
if this was going to go any farther, and I was like, I'm willing to let this go as long as the players enjoy it. And I mean, we're moving into episode 17. We'll be almost to 20 here soon, and we're just starting to get into the characters one by one, which has been so much fun.
Here's another example of working from the rough.
Mm-hmm.
This was a shot of Castle cutting a guy in half. Now, between the rough and the final, changes may occur while I'm inking it. I didn't include her shield because what I do is, because I wanted a perfect round shield, I actually use mechanical tools for that. I cheat a bit. I don't draw it by hand.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I don't call anything cheating. I call that utilizing your tools.
Yeah, so here's the final. The shield itself is on a separate layer.
Got it. Yep.
And I also admit I need to change this Raven symbol because I actually lifted that off the internet. So that's not my original artwork, this Raven, but I'm gonna see if I can make another one. I just liked it so much and I've been using it.
Yeah.
So I'll change that Raven. So there's the shield, there's Castle. Now I did this in multiple layers.
Mm-hmm. I think the layer thing is so cool. Like I'm blown away by people that can do that and see the different how it lines up properly and how it looks.
So this was my first drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I did this layer first, and then afterwards I added black in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I added additional details in there. Now those are large areas of black, but I decided that I would try some something a bit more elaborate, so I added those details in there afterwards.
Right.
And that took the most time. And then afterwards I put in I added white to it as well, just to give it a bit more oomph. Also to give her weapon an arc. I'd probably change that now. I mean, it's starting to look a little. I wanted it to look sort of comic booky, but whatever. It's done. That is done. Move on. Learn. Move on. But again, yeah, it started with a sketch like this.
Yeah.
Let's see what else I got here. Okay. Now this is the most recent work I did.
Yep.
These are portraits of the players that James requested. So
Nice. With how we've been building our characters and how everything has been shaping up, I really want to get a portrait of each of the players just by themselves for our audience that's asking or paying attention. But what it's supposed to do is hopefully this is going to allow us to blend the artwork that we're seeing consistently with our actual cosplays and make a really cool intro so that when you guys come into the show at the beginning, we'll have that nice intro. Because I really do want to not only show off all of the cool cosplays, but I want to be able to utilize the artwork as part of that introduction because it is such an integral portion of our show because of how much time, energy, and love you put into this thing. Because each character has that flavor that I would have never been able to pull out of at first. And you can pull those moments. But yeah, this is Benji as her new self after she had achieved her path. So
yeah, she went all sort of frost giant monster creature on us.
Yep.
So I had a different sketch initially, but I just ditched it, and I want to go with this one instead.
Yeah.
So this was, I think this was, yeah, there's the original. No, this was the Benji Ruff that I made. I don't know if I still have the original sketches.
Mm.
Benji reference? No, I don't. Good, ditched it. Well, I self-reference the artwork.
Yep.
After I do it, then I need to remind myself what these are previous drawings of the characters that I've done.
Right.
That's the reference, and then you guys sent me the Frost Giant.
Yep.
That glacier sample is something I drew previously because I wanted to integrate it into this drawing.
Mm.
So let's see, I'll reveal it a layer at a time. So there's that. Well, first rough, then another rough over
Yep.
top of it that's a little bit more advanced.
Yep.
And then I think this one is the line drawing. No, there's the line drawing.
Okay.
It's a clean line drawing based off the first rough.
Yep.
And then after that
Wow.
layer with detail.
That's crazy cool.
Layer with whatever mystic thing she's pulling. And then there's the background.
Mm-hmm.
There's the glaciers. And then a layer with a cloud. I put the cloud in mainly for compositional purposes.
Yeah.
I like, if you think of it visually, I try to create as many diagonals as possible on the page for an action shot.
Okay.
So the diagonal of the sword,
Mm-hmm.
crossguard, and then there's the curve of the Eldritch effect, and so you do a curve for the or a curved diagonal for the background for the mountain range and the ground, and then a curve for the clouds. All just creates a series of diagonals on the page, and as opposed to, if I'd done a straight line across it, it'd be kind of flat.
Got it. So you use the curves in order to give that elevation and that.
Gives the image more visual energy.
Mm-hmm.
Even looking at this, I can tell that there's things I would have done different, like the details in this hat. I should delete this section here of the hat rim, or remove the hair behind her sword so that the sword stands out more. But again, it's a process.
Yeah.
And it's a learning process for me. Open that up.
Oh, and like I said, and you're taking a lot of the features and the details that you got from previous versions of Benji, and now you're implementing this new, more feral version of Benji that had, with the rage, and now she's, like I said, she's going with this. I'm trying to remember the path she's running right now. My brain just is not. What path is she?
I spent a lot of time on the face.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got the transition of the eyes, which was mentioned last episode, and
yeah, I wanted to catch her in mid-transformation. So like the glowing tattoos and the eyes,
mm-hmm.
and the fangs, and then
yeah, she's a path. So the way we have her blended is she's a path of the totem, but her totems are her tattoos. So as she continues to grow in her path, those tattoos will extend or change, develop differently. Is what we've got kind of as the estimate for this this going forward. But
it's the campaign has kind of a Nordic theme, so I looked up some old Norse imagery, and I pulled up I used an image I saw of Yggdrasil, the world tree.
Oh yeah, Yggdrasil, yeah.
As a reference for the tattoos.
Oh, nice. I respect that.
She mentioned she had claws on her hands, so there you go.
Yep. There you go. They're there now. Yeah, this is crazy cool, and to see the details and how much you've been able to add to each of the characters that are actually things that have either they've mentioned in the show or that they've hinted at off stream, that are definitely unique.
Yeah. I do try to be respectful of what the players, the way they describe their characters.
Mm-hmm. And I really think you've done an absolutely incredible job. Like, I don't know a single player who was like, yeah, this is not what I look like. Like, no.
Yeah,
Um,
a little bit of artistic license, and
mhm.
it doesn't match her cosplay precisely. Like this looks more like wool, but Space's hat is actually fur. But
Yeah.
fur is freaking hard to draw. You know, it takes like this stuff takes a long time to draw.
Yeah.
I also changed the pommel of the sword from previous versions to make it look more Norse,
Yep.
and I used a little statue that I have as reference. I think a friend of mine visited Norway, and
Oh, nice.
And, see this in the camera. Oh, you can't see us, right?
No, we can't see us at the moment. We'd have to turn the screen. The
Yeah, a little statue, and so I use that for reference.
oh, okay.
Let me see what else we got here. Okay, there we go. All
Yeah.
right,
So
now
the first big character sketch was Elowin, which was awesome to be able to give him that due to his you know showing up and being a part of our show for a couple episodes. So that was kind of just a homage to give him back for his help. But this was such a funny one. If you've not watched this episode killed like just cracked me up because the person was hinted at of who it actually was, and then Chris went out and actually looked him up and modeled him directly, which was great.
all right, yeah, but
Yeah,
it's he plays a lot of thugs, and
yeah, yeah. Vinny. Yeah,
Vinnie Jones, and so I looked up a picture of Vinnie Jones and Elowin. This is Elowin killing him with her star form.
Arowina, not Elowen. Yeah,
Killing him.
Arowina. Yeah.
Arrow. I keep thinking Arrow. You know? This is the first drawing I did, the first
Mhm.
cleaned up drawing I did for us all. This was Benji, who has a habit of grabbing children randomly and hugging them. And
Episode one, I still get the kick out of it. You're like, oh, you're just muters. Okay, fine. That's different. I thought you were stealing kids.
yeah, and oh geez, I did change your boots. I gotta remember that. This is more recent. This is Benji spiking one of those not methods.
Yep.
Spire. Um, as you can see, like I said, I changed the sword up a bit. I
Hmm.
figured for two-handed, it didn't look imposing enough, so I wanted to make it bigger and more,
Yeah.
imposing.
Yeah, the Ogre Slayer is not supposed to be small. It's supposed to be a large, very, very large weapon.
It's actually one of your favorites, James, if I recall.
It is. Yes. One of my favorite moments of the first portion of our campaign was the episode where uh, I will give those since we have a few people in the chat that might have you watched the episode or not, but uh, the ladle and the spoon thing is not a canon thing for Icewind Dale, but it had be grown to be one immediately when Arowina started using her spoon as a weapon. So then we immediately brought Corey in to also implement such discipline by soup ladle. And Trovis, which was being played, of course, by our wonderful Austin, who is not with us right now for personal reasons, has brought Trovis to life for a couple episodes for us. And Corey was tired of him being drunk, so she smacked him upside the head with a ladle. That's what happened.
It's an early sketch. I wasn't at this game, but I had it described to me at this game session.
Yep.
This was the first time they fought
The Durgar.
Durgar.
Yep.
This was Benji, Castle, and Arena fighting Durgar.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped using grayscale stuff, like the grays, and that after James showed me how these are going to end up. So I only use black and white after that. Oh, I did
Yep.
do the rough. Yeah, there's a quick rough of it.
Yeah, we had to alter that because with us putting it on the backgrounds of the stone tablet, that some of those colors were not blending properly. So,
Yeah.
and Chris was more than happy to help us with that because I handed him the document and I said, "Hey, this is what we want to put it on," and he he does that now as part of the plan. Um,
This is Benji stabbing a Duergar. Again, one of my earlier drawings.
mhm.
Yeah, I was still working at the time, so
Yeah, Benji was still very much the exact same way she has been since day one. She's just gotten a little bit more angry.
this is the first drawing of Castle that I did where I thought I captured her properly. You'll understand when you see some of the older images. Okay, this was
Yeah.
running for mayor of the town, and this
Yeah.
was how I originally drew Castle.
Mhm. Now, I will say, though, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to go back to the show and listen to it, at the moment that they were doing stuff like this, though, they were supposed to be dressing up in actually like non threatening garb.
Yeah,
So this could be still a version of Castle. It's just uh, we've now seen Castle kind of diving into her Raven Queen oath, or breaking of the oath of her oath,
yeah.
due to some very bad things have happened to Castle's character uh, over her lifetime. And if you don't know what that is, go check out an episode or two. You'll find out. She definitely has been sprinkling those moments in the last few episodes. So
I also was experimenting with different styles, like this cartoon style, more inspired by Bruce Timm,
mm-hmm.
is to do. It's very quick. This is much harder to do.
Yeah.
This thing takes a lot longer.
Oh yeah.
Like this is quick. This kind of thing I can do really quick, and this is definitely very quick.
Mm-hmm.
More time means that I can do something a bit more elaborate. Okay, this is me, my character, meeting a method and getting knocked down.
Yeah.
Again, sort of a combination, like the facial structure and whatnot. I kept in a more simple cartoon style, but everything else I kind of
Put real heavy details too. Yeah. And I love some of, like I said, some of the um, little like secrets that you put in there, like noticing you actually have the grain of wheat, which
yep.
for those who have been watching the show know that that is the symbol of the god, the mother. So that is Shantaea's symbol. If you walk through, you can see, or if you've ever watched the show, you'll see Jinjak has um, a bison's hat on. So, seeing things like that. The mace looks identical to the one he wields in the show, which is hilarious. But yeah, these are. I don't know what other way to say than you blew it out of the water the first time I saw it, and I was just blown away.
So this is actually the first drawing I did where I had time. In other words, I was no longer employed.
Mm-hmm. I remember this one, and this was the one where you had. This is actually, I think, the first drawing with everyone in it too,
Yeah.
because this was the episode that Snark arrived, and um, it makes me laugh because like there's an image either before or after this one. It's just Snark. It just says I'm Snark, and that's it. Um, but then you get the goofy, zombie ogre and everybody really working together to knock this thing out. And you can see Arowena with her frying pan or her
I thought it
pan.
was a frying pan for some reason, but it's supposed to be a wooden
It's
spoon.
a wooden yeah, it's a wooden spoon.
But wooden spoon doesn't read as well, so I made it a frying pan.
That's fine. For
And
those who, a lot of people probably didn't even recognize or realize that. As long as it looks like it's a kitchen utensil instead of a weapon, I don't think it's going to matter. It definitely gets the point across for sure. Um,
spend a fair bit of time on the composition of this one.
mm-hmm.
Notice all the weapons are pointed in the same direction, roughly at the core of the upper body of the ogre.
Right.
And then so it creates almost like a pyramid on the page,
Mm-hmm.
a triangle of action. Also, again, like I said before, I try to work in diagonals whenever possible. If you notice the direction of the weapons and the direction of the ogre's arms to create a diagonal. and
almost
it's
that
really
like
and
it
it's
gives
higher,
that
so
it gives that that extra layer of and 3D effect and
yeah.
whatnot. And then of course you also have the lighting that has helped out with that a lot. Seeing that has been crazy. Now is that Raven the same one or is that a different one? Because it looks
It's the same. It's the first time I used that Raven image.
oh okay,
It's the same one.
just
Uh,
small.
Made the shield a bit too small, but again, there are lots of mistakes in this that I can pick out. But
Nobody else could pick out. Like in all honesty, I can't see a single pick out, and I don't want you to point anything out because it's not for me to. I shouldn't need to pick that out. That should be something that the artist can see, and the rest of us can just enjoy this amazing artwork that you've continued to produce for us. Um,
here's a detail from that image.
mm-hmm.
Mainly just spending a lot of time on the ogre's body.
Yeah.
And this is before I. This is still a work in progress. You can see the changes I made afterwards, like filling in the mace.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else is there. This was a seance. That's a.
Ronaldo's seance. Yep.
I thought it was appropriate how funny and weird it was to use a more cartoony style.
Yep.
Um, Castle and Arwina and Ronaldo were the only ones who could see the ghosts. The rest of us were just looking at him.
Yep. That's right.
And so I wanted to capture their responses to seeing the ghost. And the castle's in proper black now.
Yep.
So with the feathers.
Yeah.
And oh, Arwina is also has a proper hat on and whatnot.
Yep. And for those that are watching, we have watched some of our characters and some of our players shift their costumes to be something either more comfortable or makes more sense with their character design. And the cool thing is that you have kept an eye on those as well. So as they've changed, you've been kind of able to alter the imagery a little bit to accommodate that.
Benji actually has a fur hat in this one. It's not wool.
Right.
I remember to use that for reference in the future. Let's see. Yeah, here's the dog sled team.
Yep.
This is our mode of transport in Icewind Dale.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd capture it.
The cartoony Candle and Scruff.
Yeah, this is before Snark joined.
Oh, it is, isn't it? It's right before Snark joined.
I'd probably put him at the front, leaning over. Front of my character. There's Snark.
Yep.
First drawing I did of him.
Is that the first one? I thought the first one was like him just like pudge bellied and being like, "I'm Snark."
Yeah, this is the second drawing I did.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a sword, so I just kind of gave him a dagger and
Yep.
shoulder piece and whatnot. This is the first drawing of Snark. I misspelled his name. Oh boy.
I'm Snart. Yep. And if it's funny you say that because that's what Jin Jack has called him the entire time up until like an episode or two ago.
But this is our response to encountering him for the first time. This strange little goblin. At the time, he didn't have his gear, so that's why he's wearing a loincloth.
Yep. And now, if anybody's watching, you notice that Snark has kind of turned into the child of the group, as the mommies have taken on keeping him under tow a little bit.
This is one of the early sketches I did. Not fully cleaned up, but I was just getting Erwina to embrace her Disney princess status, and the rest of us hating the snow.
Yeah. Do you want to build it? No.
Here's the one you were talking about. Benji
Yep.
And Jinjak pouring holy water on Arwina's wrist.
Yeah.
Castle looking on.
Yeah, and if, for those who have not seen this episode, Castle's not really because you and I talked about this. This is Castle, her look after insulting Erowina's dad. because she tells Erowina's dad that she's almost died twice, and then she felt this like guilt and remorse, and that's what part of that face is coming from as she's looking upon it. Um, and then Benji, of course, sipping the what we find out soon to be um, tea from her parent or from her mother. So,
He always likes her tea.
mm-hmm.
This was just some moment that I captured in the early game. These knucklehead trout bursting through the
Yep,
ice, getting all crazy.
yeah, the knucklehead trout I think like tripled in size on this one, which was fine because I thought it was great to give that depiction. Um, but it was like I was like, oh no, these things are like terrifying. I'm so brave.
And this is
That's our drunk.
Trovis, yeah,
Yep, that's our drunk dragonborn.
explaining that he's sober again.
Yeah.
Another early drawing. That's the rough
Mm-hmm.
or one of the earlier ones.
Yeah. So normally, if you do show up on Monday nights, normally before we go to break, we'll show off whatever's in his sketchbook that he wants to show right before we go to break, and then towards the end of the night we do the same thing. And then as you follow along, then things like this happen where they go into full line artwork and become part of the story, the consistent story going forward.
Snark disguising himself as Unicorn Boy to pull people into the tavern.
Yeah, I will never forget this episode. Ever. This was so unhinged of an episode that I did not believe what had ended to that episode, especially after you guys had just been through a very dramatic like first portion of the show, and then all of a sudden it went from that to Unicorn Boy. But it needed it. It really did. I will say that it absolutely needed it because without it, it was going to be a very dark episode the entire time. Why are we showing
I'll
Unicorn?
show you some roughs of the. This is a rough that is in progress for the character portrait. This is the one for Arwina. Right there.
Hold on, it's showing Unicorn Boy at the moment.
Oh,
I don't know why it's changing. Let me see if I can get it to flip
close
back.
maybe I need to share screen again.
No, I'm just gonna flip my. What's going on? Why are we acting this way? View? Maybe if I view gallery it. Hey, there we go. Hey, look at that. We're actually back where you can see me and you can see the screen. Look at that. I don't know why I did that, but we'll see if it stays that way.
So here's our the character portraits. Originally, I wanted them closer and tighter, but I kind of like this one, and
Mhm.
I might keep it. Here's the character portrait for Jim Jack, my character,
Mhm.
rough, and so I'll be working on that. And but currently, this is the one I'm working on now. This is Castle's character.
Oh my! Look at that.
So this is work in progress. I might change. I think I might make her head smaller, or there's other stuff I might want to
Mhm.
adjust. But it's still in its rough state right now. Um, Castle reference there. If this was the rough before initial, this is the initial rough.
Oh, okay.
It's like the head tilted back because it looked weird.
Yeah, it doesn't give me a castle vibe either. It's
Yeah,
almost like a noble's like look that way.
yeah, she looked too snooty.
Yeah.
Changed it. There's another one, the snooty one. So I changed it so that her head was tilted forward, and she's paying attention to the weapon
Yep.
drawing. And I wanted to sort of capture the whole raven feather thing,
Mhm.
emitting from her, and then have ravens in the sky. And
Yeah, she's really diving into the Raven aspect. Not only just is the character's mechanics, but the like she's talked to me about it multiple times where it's going more so like she's actually researching what a raven is and like how they focus and how they connect to the world and what the prophecy the pragmatics are on it and everything. So um, which is pretty cool because it really does give that flavor to it where she's dove very deeply into the story.
So I just started inking it, as you can see here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just keep working on it. So first, like same with this one, do an ink layer
Mm-hmm.
with lines, and then ink, um, add black, and then add detail afterwards.
Yeah, because you currently we have Snarks done and we have Benji's done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can show snarks.
Yeah, you didn't show Snarks.
Snark. This one, snark board. Second.
Did it not open? Doesn't look like it opened.
Loading.
Oh, there it goes.
So this is the one I did of snark.
Yep.
Keep the rough. No, I didn't. Oh no, I did keep the rough. Here we go. So there's the rough.
Yep.
And I drew over top of it. There's the inking. Oh, I merged them. Yeah, I guess I did merge it. And
Yes,
again,
awesome.
this is, let's see, edit. Fill.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I think I did one of, I'll show one more Arena bird. This one I did.
Oh yeah, when she definitely um, embraced her Disney princess.
Didn't get a JPEG of Arena's bow. I think this is like Arena posted a picture of her miniature.
Mm-hmm.
Use that for reference.
Okay.
Changed
Makes
it up.
sense. Yeah. No, like I said, all the artwork is just it's definitely above anything I even expected, less let alone could conceive. Because a lot of the characters, like I said, you've been able to bring those characters to life in ways that all the characters have been blown away. So
Thanks.
yeah. So and as people have heard, Chris is doing this partially because he doesn't have any work, but if you're looking for, you know, I'm sure he'd be willing to help out uh, as well. Oh yeah, this was that was a good one. That hag had to go, and Benji was not having it. Um,
It's a frost hag? What kind of hag was it? Huh?
it was a lake hag.
Lake hag, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lake hag tried to poison Benji with tea, so Benji stuck her head in the frozen salt.
Tried to drown. Yeah, tried to make Benji drink the dead people's stew, and
I'm surprised I didn't put this in. Yeah, I needed to make a.
yeah, and y'all didn't actually get any. You guys didn't take the hint on that one as well, which was pretty funny. But yeah, the the battle. This was probably your second biggest battle you guys did. Because your first one was Nildar, and then you guys came to deal with this thing. The hag was supposed to be the final, but you all smoked that thing in mere seconds due to I think Castle critted like twice, and it was just
Yeah, Benji didn't want to take
obnoxious.
her prisoner. So,
Yeah, and then she didn't want to take a risk. Yep.
unforgivable tea etiquette.
Yeah, your character was like, "That's not hospitable. You tried to make her drink that. You need to go." And then Snark, of course, snuck up behind her and just stabbed her. So.
Oh, it was Snark. That's right. It was Snark. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he said, "Nope, you're a bad person," and then stabbed her.
Right, we wanted to take her prisoner, but Snark wasn't having it.
Yep, he wasn't having it. Um, One thing I didn't notice that I do now is the leaves. that Jin Jack is casting. So
Yeah, I added that.
yeah, which has kind of been his kind of symbolism during when he casts spells. Is the autumn leaves kind of it will show up and flare out while he's casting, which has been pretty cool. Um,
But again, I tried to stay consistent with the other drawings I've done,
mm-hmm.
like Arwina using her what is that called?
uh,
The
it's her it's her stars form.
right, the
Or,
archer.
yeah, Archer. Yep. Because so as a circle of the stars druid, and I'll pull it up real fast because otherwise I'll get it wrong. So as a circle of the stars, it's called Starry Form. Of course it is. And there's three different versions you can use. So you can use Archer, Chalice, or Dragon. But she's only ever used Archer and Chalice at this point.
So this was really tricky to work. The group shots are the hardest because I have to compose them and
Yeah.
try to make the composition as clean as possible. So the frost giant skeleton is the central
Focus.
focus, and then putting the head of the skeleton at the visual center, and running it parallel to Snark's hex bolt, and then having everything else focused on around or in the area of that center as much as possible.
So when you sketch those, is that the main focus? In like you'll sketch the main the main focus, and then kind of go from there.
Um,
And for those who might be interested in how you kind of break that down, because for me that's a curiosity on my own.
I'll sort of do like I'll try to put like bracket the characters where it's logical for them to be, like the range casters and whatnot, and then
Yeah.
put everything else and I'll start with the main monster and then put the melee characters in
Mm-hmm.
where I think they'll fit, and
then balance outward with the
that diagonal. If you look, treat Castle's body like a line coming
Yep.
up through the frost giant's head. That creates a diagonal.
Yep.
And there's a diagonal of the axe and her sword.
And then Benji breaking the leg is a diagonal.
Yep.
And then
I was trying to figure out a way to get Snark to fire his spell off where it wasn't parallel to the picture plane. If I did anything, if I changed anything, I would lower Snark's hand to here and then have it
tend to go behind or either behind or in front of the
leg.
the leg. Yeah. I mean, I think you with the diagonal of Snark himself and the blade, it doesn't affect that portion the way. But I mean, that's just that. I'm sure that's a keen eye that you have as a concept artist to make sure you catch those things.
Or adjust the line of the sword so it's pointing more at the frost giants.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this was pretty challenging.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to it as well.
Yeah.
You know, trying to make all the weapons, you know, lining the characters up properly. And then we don't have a sneak peek for next week, do we? Or are you working strictly with
Oh, I'm just working strictly right now. I'm just doing character portraits.
Castle Portrait? Okay.
I haven't been able to keep up with current events because I'm doing these.
Yep.
But here, hang on. I do have.
Yeah. I'm sure you got some sketches though from just they're not inked or anything.
I have some sketches from our gameplay sessions. Like,
Yeah.
I think. Oh, I already shared those with everyone. Like, there's this one. That's us eating in a tavern.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Now I can go back to this.
This one I ended up using, which was my first sketch of Benji in her beast form.
Her beast form. That's right. I remember that.
But from the last game session, I slacked off a bit. The only thing I did was Arwina took her spider form for the first time.
Oh gosh, that's right. You got the orc face and then the spider snow angels. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just a bad drawing.
It's just a bad drawing. Like there's nothing there.
Does anyone have any questions? I can...
So I have one question in the chat. It says, "Do you enjoy arranging your compositions more in a panoramic setting over landscape or portrait?"
Uh, the panoramic landscapes are more challenging, and also for all the old rule of animation is if people notice the background, then your animation is failing. Right? It should just be a layout, a backdrop. But I'm finding that the more that I focus on the characters first for a panoramic setup and compose them first, and then the background complements that
Got it.
as much as possible. But the amount of time required to draw the background, then you get into another issue, which is like, what if it's too busy, right?
Right.
Also, actually, I should share this with you. Give me a second here.
Let me swap back.
What's important is the purposing of the artwork. Like how is this artwork purposed and how does it end up? How is it shown? That sort of informs a lot of my decisions about how I set these up. Let me find it first. Oh, jeepers. Yeah, I have it around the screen. Get over here. Sorry, one sec. I'm sort of switching between my Cintiq and
Oh, you're good.
here we go. Film, open with. These are in alphabetical order.
Okay, you need to share your screen if you're gonna.
Oh no, I'm just opening it first and then I'm going to share.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. But this will give you an idea of what it looks like when James posts them.
And then the comment on the after